Good morning.
Good morning. My name's Steve Meyers. I'm a civil trial lawyer, 62 years old, lived in Florida, in Central Florida my whole life. I want to add my opposition to allowing the worst kinds of traps, or some of the worst kinds of traps, the steel, jaw, leg, and body gripping traps with no special permit. So the FWC mission, as I understand it, with reviewing the trapping regulations, is to modernize trapping in Florida and hopefully for the benefit of animals, hopefully to make it a little more humane for animals. And I think everybody in this room would agree with that. There's no principled argument to the contrary. And yet, I was astounded, and I mean this honestly, I was astounded to see a presentation where they're talking about making it easier, less education, less requirements to use these horrific steel traps. And you know, and I don't say this glibly, but one thing we did not see on the screen, we saw 30 or 40 pictures, there was not one picture of an animal that had been trapped. And that was done on purpose, we know that. There's no humane aspect to these traps, even though we saw the word humane multiple times on that screen. There's no principled argument that we should require less requirements, less education to use these steel jaw, foothold, and body gripping traps. These traps don't discriminate among animals. To these traps, a rat is a raccoon, is a dog, is a child. They also do maim and kill threatened and endangered species, including the Florida panther and our beloved Florida black bears. So I think, you know, collectively, we ask you to do the opposite of what was proposed today with these types of traps. Let's make the permits more rigorous. Let's have more education for anybody that wants to use these horrific torture devices. Let's limit their use, not make it more prevalent. Let's educate the public. Let's gather data. Let's prevent rule violations instead of just making it easier to maim and kill these animals with these traps. And finally, you know, this is one thing the FWC can really lead on and be, frankly, heroic on this issue. There is power in science, and there are non-lethal alternatives to these wildlife issues. If this commission explores those,
If you can wrap up, please.
You're going to be a hero in our eyes. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.